Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to another episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't have to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. Maybe this time we can beat the 49ers. Grossi. And here we are again, my friends. It feels like we were just here because we were just here just a few months ago, and we got absolutely bulldozed over by the San Francisco 49ers as they went on to the Super Bowl. And we obviously went on to fix our run defense, and it was never a problem again. So to help me break down this upcoming matchup between these two teams that are just broken on the inside and outside, we're bringing on a good friend of the show. He was on during the NFC Championship game. We got Javier from the Fourth and Gold podcast. Javier, thanks for coming on again, bud. Much appreciated.
Nah, no problem. Thanks for having me on. It's 2020. Yeah. That's really it. Like
that's it. That's the best that we could possibly muster right now. We're going through a lot right now, and that's even beyond football. There's a lot going on. Just a smidge.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, I think that teams and peoples are like, yeah, when this year is over, that'd be great. That would be great.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to change much.
Hey. Instead, now it's going to be 2021 on the checks that I don't write. So that's a big change that you're going to see. But yeah, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming back on and talking Pack and 49ers. Last time that we spoke was before the NFC Championship game, in which you and I both said it's going to be a more competitive game than their earlier one. It wasn't, not at all. And that was pretty bad. And like I said before, our run defense obviously got fixed, and we don't get run over anymore. So that was
great. It looked great versus the Vikings. It looked great.
It was wonderful. Top five, really. Top five if you're looking.
And Blake Martinez wasn't there either, so it's even better.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not upset that Blake Martinez is gone. I like Blake Martinez. He's a great guy, great for the community. But like all his tackles were, 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. And if you don't believe me, just watch the NFC Championship game again. And now we just have a different strategy. We don't tackle the running back at all.
Yeah.
It's a bold move. So, we'll see if it winds up paying off. But I want to talk to you about your San Francisco 49ers. So heading into this season, you stock up in the draft, right? You get guys like Ayuk, who
yes,
he's looking good. Many Packers faithful were upset. that they didn't get him. It's okay. We drafted a wide receiver. And I kind of want to get your thoughts before you even get into the season of what your expectations were heading into this season. Do you think it was going to be like another fight for the NFC West, considering how competitive that division is? Or did you see yourself kind of just like rolling through and like punching your ticket to another Super Bowl?
I saw that there would be a regression. I thought there'd be a regression when you lose a guy like DeForest Buckner, and you replace him with a rookie. That's you're going to see a change there on the defensive line. Then the other part of the question would become the secondary, which is always a concern for me. Richard Sherman, how would he look? And we haven't seen him since week one, so I expected a regression there. I thought the Niners would win double-digit games, 11-5. I always felt they could have a worse record but be a better team, if that makes any type of sense.
I've said that all about the Packers, so I get it.
But what's really, this season just got off to a shitty start, and that's, you lose to Arizona, and then all the mechanical things that I worried about with Jimmy Garoppolo started to show up. And that was towards the end of the game where he misses Kendrick Bourne in the end zone. He misses Trent Taylor on that 10-yard out. And I'm like, okay, here we go. There's something wrong. And then, of course, we go to the Jets game. We lose Bosa, we lose Solomon Thomas, we lose Jimmy Garoppolo to a high ankle sprain. The injury started to mount, and the season got derailed quickly. So coming into the season, my expectations were a player. I didn't think they'd be the number one seed. I thought Seattle would probably win the division just because it's Russell Wilson, and I think he's the best quarterback in football. No offense, Packer fans. I think that's just what it is right now with Russell. But yeah, I had the Seahawks, the Packers, the Niners. They were all going to be the 1, 2, 3 in the NFC this season. But as we know right now, it's Seattle, and kind of everyone else is kind of in limbo, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah, and I think it's fascinating looking at the NFC right now and kind of just how it's laid out. And I mean, looking at the 49ers, one of the big things for me, like before pre-injuries, was just like, hey, like they have a defense that can make them like contenders, right? Because you guys had a lethal pass rush and that made your secondary look significantly better. Whether there might have been like holes or flaws or whatever, it didn't matter if the quarterback had no time to throw the ball.
Correct.
And you look at how Seattle is, in which they don't have that defense, but they're just outscoring everybody.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't even matter at this point. The only other team I would kind of throw into that mix right now is the Buccaneers. And while they did, struggle against the New York Giants, which is never a good thing, I feel like they have a defense that can make them stick out, because it seems like a lot of teams in the NFC do not have that solid defense except for like the Bears, but we know what's going on offense there.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky got hurt playing one snap. I don't know how that's possible. I didn't believe in Tampa initially just because I kind of thought this Tom Brady thing wasn't going to work. Yeah. The Arians thing and Tom wasn't going to work, but stupid me. Maybe it was Tom and not Bill in New England. And Tom is just who he is, but I'm not there yet. I'm going to give Bill all his credit. So, I mean, right now, I guess you can say right now it's Seattle and Tampa, and then everyone else kind of falls in line. With the Packers, though, I hate to say this, but I still see a soft defense, like soft, very soft.
I don't think. No, I don't disagree with you. Like it's, you're jumping into a pool that's like 20 degrees soft. No, I get it. I get it. It's
they don't tackle well. They don't wrap up. They don't look for contact. And this is what gives me a little bit of hope that the Niners win this game. And if the Niners win this game, we really have to question Mike Pettin, right?
Oh yes, right? No, that's begun. It's like that is occurred. I mean, like you have last season, so. Pettin is the guy who is a leftover from the McCarthy era. He's not LaFleur's guy. He didn't pick him. And there was starting to be questions, even though last season, the defense was better, but a lot of that can be attributed to like bringing in the Smith brothers, bringing in Amos. Like we were able to get at the quarterback. We were forcing turnovers, blah, 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 blah. And then the game with you guys happens twice, but the bigger one was the NFC Championship game. And what I found amazing about that was not that you guys beat us. What I found amazing was that there was never for a second an adjustment of, hey, I think Mostert might be getting the ball. Maybe we should do something in stopping that. Because Jimmy Garoppolo was just like, oh, here you go, buddy. Oh, here you go. And that's not a knock on Jimmy G in any way, shape, or form.
No, we can knock Jimmy G. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. But for that game, he didn't have to do anything. Because it was just like, oh, we're just going to hand the ball. And literally that's all we're going to do. Try to stop us. And we literally didn't. So, yeah, if we lose tomorrow, considering how beat up the team is, there's some problems.
I read some weird number. I think right now the only offensive starters from the NFC Championship game that'll be playing tomorrow are 3: Mike McGlinchey, Kyle Juszczyk, and Laken Tomlinson. It's
insane. That's
not even a skill position. Those are your right tackle, your left guard, and your fullback. So, and now Kendrick Bourne is on the COVID list. So we're down to our rookie wide receiver, and me and you are going to be catching passes from Nick Mullens. Like that's, I've seen your recruitment tapes. I think we can do it. Bro.
That's listen, I don't know if they're going to switch me back to running back because Aaron Jones, there's no word on if he's playing yet. Most likely not. Yeah. Jamal Williams is on the COVID list. Obviously AJ Dillon is on the COVID list. So now we got Dexter Williams and Tyler Irvin back there. So I hear you. It's we got a ragtag crew. That's
Thursday night football. Night football.
Yeah, that's
the dumbest thing ever.
I can't. And you know what? And I feel like right before the show, you're like, are we even having a game? I feel like the football gods are like, don't have this game. Everybody's injured. People are going on the COVID list. And the NFL is like, it's fine. It's fine. Just throw them out there. It's fine.
You got to get that revenue, baby. You got to get the revenue.
That's it. We're already hurting. We're only going to make a few $1 billion a year. So we got to do something.
Yeah.
So you mentioned this before about kind of like bashing Jimmy Garoppolo. And I'm kind of curious from your standpoint, if I'm not mistaken, and please correct me if I'm wrong, after this season, he's not guaranteed any more money, right? I'm pretty sure there's no more guaranteed money in his contract.
Yeah, so his contract after the season, there is no more guaranteed money. if the Niners were to move off him, they'd save about $24 million for 2021. And it makes absolutely perfect sense to move off of him if you are not sold on him as a quarterback. From people I've spoken to, some players, some scouts, some agents, it's over. Like, it sounds like it's pretty much over for Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco. And a lot of it has to do with the financial part of it. Now, as far as him as a quarterback, the talent, these are things that I started to notice midway through the season. His mechanics, his feet, his footwork was really bad. And then the way he sees the field is also really bad. And, you know, listening to guys like Jeff Garcia and Steve Young, and they're like, listen, your eyes need to be attached to your feet. And his eyes are never attached to his feet. So you see him make all these wild throws and he sails a lot of balls and it just doesn't work out for him. So, I mean, could the Niners bring him back next year? Yeah, of course they could do that. But the cap is going down. At the very minimum, it's going to be $175 million. And the Niners have a tough decision to make with the quarterback position. We saw them trade off Quan Alexander to save themselves $16 million next year. They released Dante Pettis partially because he sucks and they need to save $1 million there. You know, they're just in a weird spot. They're in like this retool spot. Could they get a rookie in here to run this conservative version of the Kyle Shanahan offense? Absolutely. Nothing Jimmy Garoppolo was doing is, you know, impossible to replicate from a rookie. Nick Mullens comes in here and executes the offense. And I'm not trying to bash Jimmy too much, but you know, how hard is it to throw the ball 18 inches in front of your face when you're doing speed sweeps? And that counts as a pass in the NFL. You know, they did that all game against the Rams. They did it against the Patriots. And, you know, 49ers fans who are not into the film study like I am, or just ask a whole bunch of questions the way I do, they don't understand. They're like, oh, he played really well. It takes literally nothing for me to go catch this ball as you run in front of me.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. Now, when you're watching on the other side, you're watching this offense being executed by a guy like Aaron Rodgers, where this guy's running open everywhere. Aaron's hitting guys 15, 16, 17 yards down the field, and they're wide open. And that's not taking anything away from Aaron Rodgers. It's just the way this offense works. It sets guys up to be wide open so he can get the ball down to them. Now, Devontae Adams is probably top 2, top 3 wide receiver in the NFL, so it helps to have a guy like that. But even when you had MVS out there early on in the season, this offense was humming. So, you know, you need a quarterback that can at least move a little bit and who's willing and able to throw the ball past 15 yards. And Jimmy Garoppolo cannot do that right now. I don't think he will ever do that.
So in that sense, I mean, I didn't know how much money like you would save. I mean, that I don't want to say it sounds like a no-brainer, but like that sounds pretty enticing, especially because like what I'm hearing from you is just that he's replaceable, in which you can like expendable, in which you can go and get a rookie QB to come in and do the exact same job, right? And be like, cool. And we pay you a significant amount of money less.
Correct.
So I feel like at some point, you know, would you even consider that I think you use like retooling, because I feel like you wouldn't even take that much of a step back because, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the lack of success that you've had thus far, you know, in this season, I would assume it's mostly due to the vast amount of injuries that you had.
Yeah. So 22 guys on injured reserve. That's literally a starting NFL roster.
Yes.
You know, you have Debo out, you have Mostert out, you got Bosa obviously out, Solomon Thomas is out. Those are 4 or 5 of your biggest names on the team. Now George Kittle is out, the best tight end in football. And then you lose your starting quarterback. And now, you know, you have issues at, you know, you lost Richard Sherman. Like the list is so long, and you can make a playoff roster with the guys on injured reserve. Like that's really what it is. And it says a lot more about Kyle Shanahan than it does Jimmy Garoppolo, because they are competitive in these games. Outside of the Dolphins game, they've been competitive in every game. And then you saw last week in the Seattle game, a lot of 49ers fans like, oh, well, Seattle played prevent. No, they didn't. They kept rushing Nick Mullens, and he started executing the offense. He made the proper reads on a couple of third downs that extended these drives to allow them to score, to get in to a 10-point range. The game was out of hand at that point. I understand that. But what the film says is completely different than what your TV copy tells you. And Nick Mullens just executes it a little bit better. To me, with Nick Mullens, it kind of feels like we should start CJ Beathard and then just bring Nick Mullens out of the bullpen because he plays better out of the bullpen. Like you could do the baseball thing here. You have your starter. Yeah. And just go with Nick Mullens for the game. But I mean, Could the Niners do this with a rookie quarterback? I mean, we're watching Herbert, Burrow. I'm not going to mention Tua. Tua didn't do anything the other day, but Herbert and Burrow are executing their offenses with terrible rosters around them.
Yes.
And they're getting close to winning some of these games. If the Niners bring these guys back healthy next year, who most of them are under contract and are under the $175 million cap, then yeah, you probably could win 10, 11 games with a rookie quarterback because Kyle Shanahan hid Jimmy Garoppolo for 2 years. What makes you think you can't hide a rookie who's learning and who potentially has more upside? Yeah. So yeah, I would bring in a rookie quarterback.
Now, is that a sense in which like you're just going to go through the draft and just like now, like, is that one of those things where, obviously we don't know what's going to happen with the rest of the season, but let's just say you're like middle of the pack, right? Like, so you're around, like 15, 16, what have you, if things go poorly. Is that like you're going to spend a first, or what you would want to do? Is that spend a first rounder on a QB, or is that kind of just like we'll get one eventually and kind of figure it out? Because I feel like with the pieces you have, quarterback is not your most essential piece on that team whatsoever.
Right.
And you like can kind of throw anybody back there and they would at least be efficient enough to be like, hey, here's the ball. And you could still find success.
Yeah, I think the reality with this is they run it back one more year with Jimmy Garoppolo and they take a guy in like round 2. A guy like Mac Jones, Kyle Trask. Maybe they go ahead and maybe they do move off Jimmy Garoppolo and they inquire about Sam Darnold. Maybe Aaron Rodgers forced himself out of Green Bay. I've heard whispers of that. I'm sorry to tell you.
You shut your mouth. You shit's going so well. You shut your mouth.
But you could the Niners go after Matthew Stafford? What about Daniel Jones in New York? Those guys are guys who fit this Kyle Shanahan mold of passer. Mobile enough, but they will stay in the pocket and execute the offense if it comes down to that. Personally, I'm all the way in love with Zach Wilson. I really like Mac Jones. I'm a big Trey Lance guy, so I would hope the Niners are evaluating those 3 guys, and I would hope that they, at this point, what do you have to lose? Kyle, you just got extended for another 6 years. You're going to be here a while, so just attach yourself to a rookie and develop him. You already have guys like Fred Warner and Nick Bosa who are going to be here for a while. Mike McGlinchey's going to be here for a while. Debo and Ayuk are there. So you have a good 8-9 pieces to your core. Yeah. Go get a quarterback in the draft and let's keep this thing rolling. Like, I'm a patient fan. I'm not one of those fans. Oh, we got to win now. Like, I've been a fan all my life. At the end of the day, it's just football.
We got time. You're saying we got time,
unless this election goes really wrong, we all die tomorrow, but whatever.
All right, then we don't got then you're just like, listen, sell the farm. It's fine.
And at least I got to see them in 94, 95, so I got that one.
There's pros. Yeah, I think, you mentioned 2 names and Sam Darnold has definitely been making mistakes this year, but like, good God, that's a team around him that's just so abysmal and a system around him that's so abysmal. Yeah. Like, I would love to see how he would function as a 49er. And you bring up a guy like Matt Stafford, who is one of the most underrated QB. Like, I think he is so much better than people give him credit for.
Absolutely.
And like, he would be a guy, like a guy has a rocket of an arm. Like, you have guys that are open. Yeah, Matt Stafford's going to make that throw. And, I think that it could be a lot of fun that way. If you actually wound up picking up Matt Stafford, like there'd be a small piece of me that would root for you because like I want to see Matt Stafford do well, just not on the Lions, just because that organization is just
terrible, absolutely terrible. Just give away Darius Slay, and you're gonna ruin Kenny Galladay's career. Way to go, guys!
Yeah, you did it. Good job, guys. So looking ahead at tomorrow, well, when this comes out tonight, I'm curious of like you mentioned earlier, of like there's like a chance that the 49ers pull this one off. Now, we played against Nick Mullens a couple years ago. That was the Monday night game, if I'm not mistaken.
You played CJ Beathard and almost lost.
That was Beathard.
I was not expecting that game to be that close. CJ stinks.
We weren't either, and that was a nice wake up. We won with it was the last second field goal. Like we wound up with like the very end at Lambeau. Yeah, that's horrifying. I think heading into this, we obviously are decimated at running back at this point. Most likely not going to have Aaron Jones back. We have Devontae, but Allen Lazard is probably not going to be back either. So like we're hurting on offense. Hopefully we have a guy like David Bakhtiari back, and then on defense, a guy like Kevin King, what have you, to kind of make things a little bit easier to swallow. But I'm curious of like what you're looking at and what you think gives the 49ers the best shot to beat the Packers tomorrow night.
Run the ball.
And how'd you come up with that game plan? That seems really, really.
There was this game on Sunday. This guy Dalvin Cook, he looked like Raheem Mostert kind of, and it was just there was so much. The Niners just have for them to be successful in this game. They have to force at least one turnover. They have to control the clock. Time possession is big with the Niners. They have to have it. And they do that by running the ball. And we know the Packers are not very good at stopping the run, but we don't have guys either. We have Jermichael Hasty. We have this kid, Austin Walter, who played at Rice and played in the XFL. But he was on our 90-man roster 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So he's back. Do they get Raheem Mostert back this week? Maybe. If Mostert's back, then I would feel a lot more comfortable about saying run the ball.
He should
but I do like this Hasty kid. And can Mullens execute the offense? There's ways to attack this Packers defense. They don't rush the passer very well this year for some reason. I don't understand what the hell's going on there. Kenny Clark got paid and forgot how to play defensive tackle. I don't know what the deal is there.
To be fair, he started off the season. He has been injured, so he is still coming back. To be fair,
listen, and on my side, Eric Armstead got paid, and we don't see him either, so it's okay. Yeah. It's all right. But I think I really, to be honest, I think the Packers are going to win the game. But there's ways for the Niners to win this game. I think the run game is the biggest way, and then this Niners defense hasn't been bad, even with the injuries. Outside of the Seattle game and the Miami Dolphins game, the Niners defense has been pretty damn good. We saw what they did to New England. They did it to the Rams. They did it to the Jets, the Giants. Even in that Arizona game, I know we saw the Hopkins get busy for a lot of yards. They didn't pass the ball too much anywhere else because the coverage was so good everywhere else. So there's options there. The biggest surprise this year to me is Jason Verrett. He's come out of nowhere and just been absolutely shut down. So maybe we get a Verrett versus Adams matchup that favors the Niners in some way, maybe. But I really think the Packers win this game.
And your outlook on the rest of the season, again, it's crappy.
Tank for Trevor.
Listen, there's a lot of company with you, bud. There's a lot of company with you. Like the rest of the season, is your outlook kind of like this is not good? And the reason I asked that is because I feel like this is a game that means a lot more for the Green Bay Packers. And it's not even outlook for the season. It's just, if you lose to this team after what we saw on Sunday, we got some big old problems in Wisconsin.
Yeah. I mean, the outlook, to me, the only games that I want to win the rest of the year is this one and the Cowboys game.
Fair enough. Okay. The Cowboys one I get. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Partially because I don't like Mike Pettin. So I'm like, Kyle, just put your foot up Mike Pettin's ass one more time. Just do it with nobody on your team.
Hey, in that way, you could actually be helping us because you might lead to him being fired. So
we're doing each other a favor. This works.
Can it just be like you run all over our asses, but like we still are able to like get a field goal to win it? Because I want the W, but then Pettin gets fired. Like, can we compromise a little bit? It helps you for Trevor.
We can do that too. We can do that too. But as far as the rest of the season goes, I mean, we know the season's not going anywhere. You're 4-4. You lost pretty much you lost the best player on your offense in Kittle. Yes, you still need a competent quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo's gone for at least a season, 6 to 8, or at least 6 weeks, but I think he's done. So now you just got to hope to be competitive and develop some of these young guys that are on the defensive side and on the offensive side. So I would just hope for some progression and some good snaps for these guys going forward. I think we can win 7 games, 3 more. I think Washington, Dallas, and this one are winnable games. Those are the 3. But I'm not going to be surprised if we lose tomorrow or tonight.
Yeah, whenever this is coming out. That's fine. Final question I have for you. The NFC West is arguably the best division in football, in which there is so much competition. The Cardinals, I am not a believer in their defense, yet. They've improved, but it's still, after watching that Seattle game especially, I was like, oh, they're just both bad. Like those defenses aren't great. But Kyler Murray seems to be the real deal, especially when he targets DeAndre Hopkins. Like that seems like where he has like that real connection. I'm curious, kind of going forward, how do you look at the NFC West? It seems the Seattle Seahawks are competitive every year that they're going to have Russell Wilson, right? Even in spite of themselves, sometimes it'll be because they have Russell Wilson. As a Packers fan, I know that feeling all too well. And then you have like the Rams, who honestly, I can't read the Rams at all. Like there's games where they look amazing. Then there's games they look like hot garbage.
I think they stink. I think the Rams stink. I think they stink. I think a lot of it is Jared Goff. He can't handle pressure. He has a weird number about a weird stat with his passer rating. It's like 90, it's like 94 point something when a clean pocket. And then once it gets a little bit muddied, it's like 15. Like it's the biggest variance in the NFL. And you see that when you saw him against I know they beat the Bears, but you saw he has any pressure in his face, he's going to throw it away. You saw the Miami game, any pressure in his face, he's going to fumble it, throw an interception, throw ducks, throw it in the ground. Same thing against the Niners. The Niners didn't sack him once or even hit him, and he still threw ducks, and he doesn't function well under pressure. They go as far as Jared Goff goes, so I don't think they're more than an 8-8 team. Arizona, I'm still not a believer in the defense, but Kyler, I'm still not there yet on. His passing numbers aren't the greatest. It's more so his feet. Can that be sustained? Maybe. And then Russell, it's just Russell. When you have an elite quarterback like that, it doesn't matter. We've seen Russell's been working with, random guys off the street, and now they got him DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. And it's, what can you do now? What's missing in Seattle is a good tight end, like a mid-tier tight end. And then their offense would go off, to the next level.
You mean Greg Olsen is not leading their team to enormous amounts of touchdowns? Color me shocked.
No. I mean, Seattle, I think Seattle owns the division. I think Seattle's going to own division for the next 5 years. Ooh. That's just, they may not win it every year, but they're going to be the team you're going to have to go through to win it. Like, yes, the Niners won it last year, but they had to go to Seattle and win on the last second play. Like, that's just how it is. Same thing with Arizona and the Rams. They want to win it. They got to go to Seattle. They got to deal with Russ. And that they're going to run that division for a while. Maybe Russ retires or something, hopefully. And that'd be great.
You're just like, please just leave me alone.
I feel like with Russell, it's like LeBron James, like just retire already. Like, and Tom Brady, just go away, retire already.
I feel like there's a lot of NFC North fans that feel the exact same way about Aaron Rodgers. So,
of course they do.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Well, listen, I feel like Aaron Rodgers leaving Green Bay is going to happen sooner than Russell Wilson leaving Seattle. Who knows? Maybe Seattle will go and draft a QB in the first round. They won't do that. No,
they won't.
Javier, it's been awesome having you on. I really appreciate you coming on, chatting some 49ers Packers with me. Once again, can you please tell the people where they can find all the things that you do?
Yeah. Check us out on Twitter at 4th and Gold Podcast. We do a pod twice a week, pre and post game. And then follow me on Twitter at @HavierVeg_. And then I do work for Pro Football Network now. So go ahead and check out all the work over there, Pro Football Network. I do run most of the shows, the ones with Anita Marks, Ben Albright, all those guys like that. So I do the production for those things. So go ahead and give them a shout or give them a follow. And then, of course, the mock draft simulator. It's free. You get user trades, simulation trades. It's probably the best one out there. And I'm not saying that because I work there, but you don't got to pay for it. Why would you pay for something like that? And they're giving it to you for free. But yeah, PFN's doing a great job over there. And of course, Tom, as always, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. It was a pleasure talking to you. And if we lose this game, it's gonna be bad. It's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good. You guys saw me at Tom Grossi Comedy and all the places. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack, go.